Alaska Native people, we've really lived in harmony with the land and the culture and the water for generations and for many years.
Through the various waves of colonization, we have seen an exploitation of the natural resources that are adjacent to our people and our lands.
And in that time frame, they took away the ability for people to speak our languages. They would not allow it. They took away culture and they took away our dance. And they replaced it with a government structure that did not base anything off of our traditional ways of life, and therefore trying to essentially wipe out Alaska Native people and the way that we live. But I will say that while it's been hard, they were not also successful because we're a very resilient people.
It's an umbilical cord that ties you to your mother or to your home. And so when you think about our indigenous homelands, we're still on the same homelands that we've lived on since creation. We have our creation stories that go back to that.
We believe that it's possible to protect and preserve the sacred through movement building. That means hold one's identity up, culture up, traditional knowledge up, and own it in a way.
How are we bringing the values of our people together with, some of the tools that are beneficial? And how are we then using that to build the vision of just economies?
And this is what's so beautiful about what's currently taking place through Native People's Action. It's a process of awareness that attempts to decolonize the mindset and bring back language and cultural norms and traditions.
Our culture and our languages, they didn't die, but they were put under a blanket and we had to hide them. And now we're pulling that blanket back and they're really coming back to life.
We are waking up and learning, asking questions, and bringing back concepts that have sustained many generations in living here in this terrain.
The solution is indigenous knowledge, is uplifting the knowledge system of those peoples that have lived in healthy relationship with the land for time immemorial.
And with that comes the ability to see beyond oneself as just an individual, but as part of a collective that has a shared vision.
With colonization, there have been attempts to separate us as a people, that we have a corporate structure and a tribal structure and a nonprofit structure, and by staying separate and not working together, we see how that definitely impacts our well-being, our collective well-being. Native People's Action is really looking to unify us across an array of interests, an array of visions, so that our Native political power and our ability to self-determine the future that we want in Alaska is one that we're standing side by side, that we're linking arms, and that we are no longer allowing a history of colonization to keep us separate from ourselves.
So I envision an Alaska for my grandchildren, my children, that still has our lands intact and our animals are healthy and their ecosystems are intact. I see an abundance of salmon, I see an abundance of moose, and I see a thriving caribou herd, and I see people living our culture and living in diversity and celebrating that with one another. I see our languages being spoken, and I see our indigenous dances and games and stories and all of that. I see healthy people celebrating and being proud of who they are.